bring in. It's tool time. Let's bring in. Okay, here we are. We are live out here. Is this what we're working? Did we paint? Like what do we got going out here, TK?
Hey, look at that. It's all painted.
Nice.
This right here is gonna be a black trim. Right here. This is gonna be black right here. We just gotta spray the gutters down a little bit and then paint those. And then we're pretty much done with that exterior, and then we gotta fix the windows, and then it's the outdoors all done.
I was just about to ask you, like, is the end in sight? Can you see the light at the end of the tunnel here with your project?
Yes. I mean, the windows need to get replaced. That part is the most challenging for me because I've never done anything near that, and getting the glass out will be a challenge. And then you have to basically take some putty and like put the glass in the metal and then putty around it hopefully it'll stay. So we'll see about that. But it's like all vintage glass and vintage windows, so that part is going to be tricky, but everything else has been overall pretty good.
I'm excited to see the finished product.
I am too.
I'm very
I'll
excited.
show you guys what the side currently.
Well, don't go too far away.
I won't. All right, let's see.
This is a large property.
I'm about to say, is that a garden over there?
This is like an estate.
Yeah.
This is like Kenny's house.
Well, that's
that's what that looks like now.
Oh, that looks nice. That looks good.
So the windows just need to get redone, but everything else is like pretty much set.
Are we doing anything to the inside?
Eventually, yeah. So we'll probably put some drywall in there. I want that back window area to be where I put like a couple of my vision is like, a couple of like mid-century modern like lounge chairs and maybe some sort of bohemian rug down and a small desk and obviously a Wi-Fi extender. Obviously.
Well, yeah.
Obviously. Can't even get on with you guys over there. So, and then kind of make that like a little bit of an office space, which would be really cool.
Okay.
This is fantastic.
Because my mom, I can't get on the phone without my mom telling me what to say. At 38 years old, she's like, I'm calling the pharmacy because I have a migraine today. I'm trying to get my pharmacy moved from the one in Virginia to the one in Oregon. And so it's like, 1, if you're a healthcare provider, push 1. If you're this, press 2. If you're this, press 3. If you want to speak to a pharmacist, push 4. And she goes, push 4. And I'm like, I don't need help with this. Like,
but
don't
it's your
need
mom.
help.
She's trying to help you.
I'm like, you don't need to be involved in this conversation, in any of it.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have 2 sisters, both of them. One of them's 9 years older, one of them's 10 years older. One's my dad's daughter, one's my mom's daughter. I'm the baby. But I'm not, though. Like, I'm the adult. Like, I'm the one.
I get that. Like, I understand it. But you're still your mom's baby, so she's going to help you.
She's wild. My friend who's been helping with the project says when he listens to us speak, it's like hearing like a surround sound. Like she's the left speaker and I'm like the right speaker because it's like exactly the same.
That's
and
amazing.
I'm like, I don't need your help with that. She's like, well, obviously you do need my help. And I'm like, no, I don't. She's like, maybe you do.
That is the greatest bickering session like possible. You just
it's wild too. Because like I'll call her all kinds of hoes and bitches in a very playful way. Because she'll call me like she's always been like kind of like more of a it's been just me and her. So it was always like she would call me the same thing that my friends would call me.
It's a different culture. That's all it is. Just different culture.
It is. Yeah, she's not. I mean, she's got that black mama rage inside. She's like a hybrid. She'll beat your ass like a black mama and call you a hoe like a white mama.
Well, but at the same time, this isn't really a mom-daughter situation, but women, the friends group, they'll bitch and hoe each other.
What up, bitch? Like that. Like that.
This is high quality programming here.
If you're looking for low like
we're somehow still tamer than the wake up call, but still.
Yeah, like low vibrational, like misogynistic female commentary. This is the place. Trysta Krick's Tuesday hit.
All while Trista's rebuilding the garage. This is great.
We're breaking gender norms here. You know what I mean?
We've always been different over here on D-Lo and KC. We've always been different. Did you watch? I mean, you've been so consumed with this home improvement project. Did you watch football this weekend?
I did. I actually went to this cool little spot down the street from my mom's, and it was an outdoor bar, outdoor bar, and they actually put like the tent up when it rains or whatever type of weather is coming, and they have heaters outside and like 12 TVs. So I watched every bit of the 1 o'clock slate or the 10 a.m. slate, and then I watched all the 4 o'clock slates there too. So I was pretty much hanging out all day, and then I watched the Niners Jets game last night. Wow. I think a lot of people were high on the Jets, not me. Couldn't be me. But now I think people are starting to realize the jig is up. Like the offensive line is not. I've been saying this for years. The offensive line is going to need to be top 1 or 2 in the league in order to keep Aaron Rodgers upright, because he's not ever been really good mobile out of the pocket if it's collapsed. Now coming off of an Achilles injury, he's really not that guy, and we see exactly that's the case.
He looks stiff. I mean, and understandably so.
Pause.
Like, well, pause. You're right. Understandably so. At his age, coming off of that injury, he ain't gonna be Lamar Jackson in the backfield in the first game or ever, but definitely in the first game, he's gonna look like a statue back there.
The defense didn't look good either.
I'm a believer in the Jets defense. I think it's a good defense, but they kind of got manhandled
They did.
after a while last night. And
You
I don't know
gotta
if
feel
that's
good.
more of the Niners or the Jets or just a combination of both.
Yeah, you got to feel good as a Niner fan too. I mean, no CMC, no problem. This thing comes and goes pretty much with Trent Williams. If he's in the game, you got a shot. If he's not in the game, you're losing to the Arizona Cardinals with some random backup scrub and no Kyler Murray. We saw that occur last year. So Trent Williams and Debo, and it was interesting. I was in the backstage when you were talking about Ayuk. Like, it doesn't even feel like Ayuk necessarily needs to be in for every single offensive snap either. Juwan Jennings, he got his. Like George Kittle, he can kind of be sprinkled in. It's really like a matter of everybody gets to eat with Brock Purdy as long as he has proper protection. Pause.
Well,
okay. Well,
Make it rain. Make it rain on everybody with the proper protection.
Oh man.
Boy, you are feeling good today. Is the migraine gone, or is
No,
it in the
it's not. It's
You're
not
laughing through the
gone.
pain.
It's not gone. And this is my first prescription of the actual like good stuff, which I've only tried one time. And the neurologist who I have told me like, hey, put the sample of this in your purse because you'll get jacked. Because it's like $100 a pill without insurance. Yeah, I have
What is
insurance.
this
Still.
high-end luxury drug you're taking?
It's
the government got her. Yo, you think Big Pharma's a joke, huh? You think this is a joke? Ain't no joke. Second I asked her what she was taking, the government got her. Oh, they watch everything. You see this? Just a black screen in front of us.
Oh man.
Absolutely incredible.
They got her out the frame.
Oh, she's safe.
No.
She's safe. Well, nope, she's gone. Now she's completely gone. We can't talk about nothing here. We just gonna be a regular old sports show talking about.
If it ain't
nothing.
about Jamal Murray, we don't need to talk about it.
Man, you good over there?
Yeah, I think the pharmacy called. I think
Oh.
that's what happened. I didn't have my phone on Do Not Disturb. The thing about StreamYard, the way StreamYard is set up, is if you get a call, it just boots you off the StreamYard.
I'll take you out.
All right.
Take you out.
No.
I'm not really that.
We figured the pharmacy was
exciting to
calling
be
to say
getting
something.
calls.
We thought the pharmacy was calling to say something else, like, "Hey, don't you dare open your mouth about this drug we gave you."
Yeah, it's like $100 a pill. It's called Abrelvi. They have it on TV all the time. And it's it's kind of messed up how the pharmacy like medical system is, because they have these other kinds that are like been around for 50 years, but they give you crazy side effects like nausea, make you super sleepy. And I was like, guys, this is not making anything better. And they're like, well, we can try this other one. It's like 100 times more expensive, and we'll see if your insurance will cover it. Like, let's just roll the dice.
Yeah, I don't like taking the medicine.
I don't either.
I try to avoid it.
That's why I'm going to die early, because I don't like medicine and I haven't gone to a doctor.
If you had migraines, you would figure it out. Like, I actually can't believe, on a sports related tip, I cannot believe that Caitlin Clark does what she does, like in the middle of a migraine attack.
Oh, she
The
has
last game she had.
Mhm.
Yeah, the last game she had, she was in the middle of a migraine attack. She's had to like leave the game before because of that. She suffers from them really badly. And you could see she was on that overtime game. She was suffering from a migraine attack then when she was like blanked out. I'm like, I know that stare. Like the
Mhm.
light is gone, like the light's gone from your eyes.
Mm.
Gone. So
How often do you get them? I know we've done a show before where you've had one. How often? I think we cured it that day, but how often do you get them?
like I would say at least 2 or 3 days a month. Sometimes
Oh, man.
sometimes it's a lot more, and it depends. Like if I don't have the medicine, it'll go days. So like this is day 3 without medicine. I've been trying to take like Excedrin, and it won't. It's a strong one. So it's like the Thanos of migraines this time.
That's
But
all.
like less a computer and less of those big studio lights, the better the like the frequency of the migraines go way down.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I don't think I've ever had a migraine or anything like that. The closest thing is I get these a little too often.
Hangover?
No, I don't even really get
He
hungover
don't even
like
do
that.
that.
Yeah, but I get sinus infections pretty bad.
Oh
Those
yeah.
are very fun, but I don't know if they're comparable. I don't know. They're not fun though. I know that much.
No.
How about your Cowboys? You buying it?
No. No.
Really?
I'm not buying it. Like I think what is the perfect narrative is that the Browns have a top 5, top 10 defense, and they've got an elite running game, and they've got all these weapons, and all they need is Deshaun to return back to being Deshaun, and Cleveland's this really tough place to play, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why the Cowboys were underdogs. The last time we saw the Cowboys, they looked stink butt against the Green Bay Packers. So I think that we all were rightfully so kind of scared of what the Browns could be if they put it all together. And Deshaun had a healthy offseason, and maybe he figures things out and becomes Houston Deshaun. But the truth of the matter is like he's done. He's gone. He's not with us anymore. He's like whatever happened in that massage room.
Well,
His
based on that report we got this morning, he might really not be with us anymore.
dog, I'm gonna have to tell you guys some stuff offline about that.
Oh,
but so I think his quarterbacking ability is toast. And then you've got no Nick Chubb, you've got Jerome Ford there, and he was okay. You've got, I think Deshaun's quarterback ranking was 16.2. And then you've got Mike Zimmer, who we didn't know what he was going to look like as a defensive coordinator, and he is really, really good. He's kind of like, how Dan Quinn came in as a unsuccessful head coach, comes in as a DC and really thrives, and that's what he's done. So I think it would be very foolish to say that the Cowboys are contenders just based on that mollywop. I think what we know for sure is that the Browns really stink. That's what we know for sure. I'm going to need to see the Cowboys beat the hell out of a team that's over 500, and they haven't done that last year, and except for at home, and the only game that they really won was against the Lions, and that was on some fugazi stuff.
I understand everything you're saying. I thought they looked really good though. I tip my hat to the Cowboys because in a week one that I didn't think I saw a lot of good football at all.
Yeah.
The Cowboys were one of the teams where I was like, no, they play really well.
Mm-hmm.
And on both
Great
sides,
game plan.
Yeah. So I like I said, I'm not ready to crown their asses, as Dennis Green would say, but I
The
salute
Niners,
them. I think
the
they played well.
Niners would beat us still by 2 touchdowns.
I don't know if there's, as a Niners fan, the way I look at one of the ways I look at how you can beat them or how you would beat them is if you can match their physicality. And I just don't know if those teams exist in the NFC. I think the Lions
The
might be able to
Lions
do it. The Lions, but I
and
don't
Green
know.
Bay.
Nah, Green Bay way too soft. Way too
I
soft. They
mean,
they
Green
they get
Bay
pushed
threw
around.
threw up all over themselves. They had you on the ropes. They
They
had
they
you
do
on the
push them.
ropes.
They we play Green Bay. We do play Green Bay this year. We push them around. The Green Bay too. So they have Philly and Jalen Hurts and all these guys were pushing them around. They ain't standing up to that Niners offensive line. They getting pushed around. They too small.
I think there's only a few teams that can really do it, but the Niners look really good right now. Like defensively, offensively, the questions that I had in the offseason are just not really there. I mean, it's only week 1 and we're going to have to see. But I saw something from Kirk Herbstreit today on Twitter. He was like, what we're seeing from quarterbacks right now is September football looking like August football because these
Mm.
guys aren't showing up and playing in preseason games. The dress rehearsal that we were so used to seeing is gone because we're adding games at the tail end of the season. The beginning of the season is basically the preseason now. And I think that's overall pretty correct from what we saw. Like if you didn't play a lot of preseason minutes, and that's why I think the Chiefs do what they do, where Andy Reid has those guys play maybe more than you would expect, because then they get against the Ravens and they're ready. They're not only like in terms of their endurance and their stamina and like physically ready, but they're like mentally sharp and they're in rhythm, and that's what makes them better than everybody else. And I think that even without Ayuk in training camp based on all the contract stuff and Trent Williams not in, like you got to give it up to Brock Purdy because he's in rhythm, and to Shanny. Shanny finds ways to bring guys in and they step in and plug and play no matter really who's out of the game. And like I really do believe that Brock Purdy and Trent Williams are the most important players to that team.
Well, look, Tristan, to your point though, what's the common denominator? Brock played 2 games in
Yep.
the preseason, and even if it's a total of 4 series, I am a believer of that. After seeing week 1 and how these guys, don't look ready, how these guys look ready, I think I wouldn't go the Sean McVay route. Like you got to get them a series or 2 in the preseason just to kind of work on rhythm and all this other stuff. And it worked for 25 years. like
Mm.
it worked fine in the past, and I would kind of lean more towards that. Yeah, I'm gonna get you in here at the very least in the last preseason game for 2 or 3 series.
Yeah, I agree
I
with
like,
that.
yeah, I like the analogy. I'm a little bit more of a believer in the Cowboys. Do you feel like it's I mean, after week 1 is the takeaway is 49ers and Chiefs still?
Yeah. I think that there will be teams that look good midway through the season. And obviously, this is matchup driven. And we know that if the Bengals are fully healthy in a postseason game against the Chiefs, they have a fighting shot. We know that. Are the Ravens there yet to really compete with the Chiefs in a postseason game? I don't think so. Like I don't think, where was Derrick Henry really? Like he was in and out of that game where he was just not on the field for many series. I think Lamar threw the ball way too much, and obviously Isaiah Likely looks really good, and Zay Flowers was wide open in the end zone, and they had a shot to beat the Chiefs. But when it matters most, there's only a few teams that are really trustworthy, and I haven't seen anybody quite on the level of the Niners and the Chiefs just yet, and that includes the Eagles, that includes the Cowboys, that includes the Ravens, that certainly includes the Bengals and the Bills and the Dolphins. So yeah, I think that the league, everybody thinks that there's so much parity, but I think there's parity in the mediocre zone and not in the elite zone.
I would venture everything you said. I agree with. I would probably keep Baltimore in that conversation of teams that are true championship contenders. I put Detroit there as well. I'm a
Mhm.
believer in
Detroit
Detroit.
for sure. Yeah, Detroit for sure. And I think that the fact of the matter is that Detroit finds themselves in these little battles, in these little squeak wins And I think the squeak win is really important, right? Like it tests you, you figure out ways to get a win. Like that was really the Cowboys' problem, is that they were their point differential was crazy in the regular season last year. And then they get punched in the mouth by a team that they did not expect in Green Bay at the crib, and they go home. So I think getting into those regular season battles is really important as well. And I think Detroit in that division is going to find themselves in a lot of those. Once the Bears figure out what they are and they get on track, their defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. Also, very impressive game plan by Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings. Like Sam Darnold might end up reviving his career with one of the best quarterback
Don't do
revivers
that,
in the
Dame.
league.
Don't do that. I'm not. Sam Darnold not trash.
He's not.
I
He's
don't
going to
think
have
he's trash.
He's going to have a fantastic 6 or 7 weeks.
If he stays healthy and
Maybe
Kevin
6
O'Connell
plus 7.
keeps doing what he's doing, then that team is going to potentially be with that defense, because that defense was really good against the Giants.
Yep.
And I know the Giants offensively stink and Daniel Jones has to go,
Thank you,
but
defensively.
6 points to anybody in the NFL is impressive. And
Sure.
it looked even more dominant than that. So I think the Vikings are going to be much better than people think too. So that division with Detroit, where you've got the Lions there, you've got the Bears there. When Jordan Love comes back, you got Green Bay there. You're talking about 6 games where it's, oh boy, it's going to be tough every single time.
I want to get to something we didn't talk about yesterday, Jamal Murray's contract extension. But before we do you have an opinion on the Super Bowl halftime performance?
See, the thing that I think is really interesting about this is because I have various thoughts about it, right? Like, because you can look at it in a bunch of different ways. Number one, there's a lot of uproar about Wayne in not getting the Super Bowl in New Orleans. But I don't recall this level of outrage when Outkast was snubbed for Maroon 5, which I think is much more disrespectful in Atlanta than Kendrick, who's kind of having a moment right now. And there's obviously that, like, the Lil Wayne.
I could be wrong. Because I think I can respond to that. I could be wrong. Maroon 5 was before Jay. Am I wrong in that? Because he had Shakira.
Maroon 5
and
was
Jennifer.
2019.
And Hove took over, I think, in 2020. I think his first Super Bowl might have been the February 2021 in Miami, where it was Shakira and Jennifer Lopez. That's a miss, but I guess if the whole thing is this theme of the city, that fits them. I can't remember all of the performers, but obviously Rihanna. I think Coldplay is in there. I think that might have been Hove. Rihanna, obviously
the LA one where it was all of the like it was Dre and Snoop and 50. That was 2022.
The Weeknd, now that I think about it, was the Weeknd 2021? Because wasn't the Weeknd one of the pandemic?
The Weeknd, yeah. It was the Chiefs Bucks Super Bowl. So that was 2020, I guess. Yeah. February 2020.
So I don't think that was Jay.
Okay.
I don't think Jay did that one. I think Jay had the Shakira, Jennifer Lopez one. He had Usher, Rihanna.
But Miami was 2019.
Was
that
it?
Was before. Yeah, Miami was right before the pandemic, because I came back and thought I was on my deathbed.
Niners Chiefs. Right.
Yeah, that was Niners Chiefs.
Only there was a way we could find out. Here.
But
I believe, I felt like that should have been the way I always phrase it is like, maybe Wayne's the headliner, but that should have been a Wayne, Cash Money, Young Money, No Limit Super Bowl performance. That's just what I thought about it. Kendrick Lamar is going to do a great job. And after 24 hours of seeing endless tweets and being in group chats and talking about, I don't care anymore. I don't care. Yeah. Kendrick Lamar is going to do fine. I would have liked for it to be Wayne and all those guys that I talked about. It's not. It's okay. It's
I also think that, and I disagree with this notion, but and I know obviously Jay is in charge, but there's a global aspect to the decision making that gets added in, right? And you have to think about how many people in Korea were doing the not like us dance, and all over the globe on TikTok, and how many people from overseas are going to be watching the Super Bowl as well. I know it's our event, it's our sport, and we should do our best to keep things culturally in alignment with the city that the Super Bowl is in. But I don't know how many people know Juvenile that are in Brazil or Germany. And I'm not saying that's the only thing that matters, but I know that they're taking that into consideration a little bit. And then and I think if what we saw with Drake and Kendrick did not exist, I think the outrage would be more legitimate. But what we're seeing from Kendrick this year was like a lightning in a bottle moment, and it just sucks that it's coming at a time where Wayne gets slighted because of it.
So a couple of quick things just for the sake of accuracy. And do you have time? Because
I have so much time. I ain't
okay,
got no
all right.
job. I'm like building stuff. Yeah, I'm
Cool.
kicking it.
We'll keep going. Jay took over in the summer of 2019. That's when he said we're past kneeling and it's bigger than Cap. Whoops. 2020 was Shakira and Jennifer Lopez. That was in Miami. 2021 was The Weeknd. That was the one that we were thinking about, the pandemic one in Tampa. Then you had the LA one.
Yep.
Rihanna.
Yep.
Usher, and now
Yep.
you have Kendrick Lamar in New Orleans. So those are so any slight on Outkast didn't have anything to do with Jay-Z, which is probably why the uproar is so much louder than
What
it's
does
been in
Usher have to do with Vegas though? Just because he has a
Vegas
residency there?
residency. That's
Yeah,
it.
He was
Vegas
Vegas.
residency.
The other thing
So does
about it,
Bruno
He had
Mars.
arguably the biggest, but he had arguably the biggest Vegas residency for 6
That's
months
true.
to a year,
Yeah.
and there was
and openly campaigned for it. He wanted it.
and that's another aspect of like this was something that was talked about like almost immediately after Usher got off the stage last year. Wayne, New Orleans, it's gonna be in New Orleans, man. They could get Wayne. Wayne campaigned for it to a certain degree. He was like on a podcast like a week later talking about, I haven't talked to nobody. I would love to. I'm gonna work on my game.
He also said the new album
I'm
gonna be
straight.
fire.
Yeah, who knows? But that's that kind of, I think that adds to the story because it was on people's mind for almost a year, or not a year.
And I
but
And Kendrick
I
came out of
also
nowhere.
think I also think the intention behind it has to be considered in terms of like, I don't know. Like I know that Cam and Mace on their show talked about it. They have
Mhm.
information that I don't have. They know these people I don't know. I don't know what whether there was some malicious stuff behind it. Anti Wayne stuff behind it. That would be very petty. I think that would be very foolish if that was what any of the reason or any of the logic was.
But he didn't not select Lil Wayne to select Tommy Richmond.
Right.
It's Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah,
Like that's
exactly.
and I also, and this is a serious question that I didn't ask yesterday. Do we believe, and Jay-Z is the figurehead, and you, in this case, he says your name's on it. You wear this when you're that. Do we believe Jay-Z just said, okay, it's Kendrick Lamar, and that's it? Or did the biggest halftime show in the world, the biggest spectacle in the world, did that have to be filtered through multiple people?
I think it has to be filtered through multiple people.
Took Kendrick Lamar to whoever, and yep, that's what we're doing. That okay? I see. Yep. All right, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah, I think it's for sure
A process,
yeah,
so to
process.
speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't think he's doing.
I don't think he has carte blanche.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. There's too much money at stake. There's
Yeah.
billions upon
Too
billions
many
upon
white
billions
people
of dollars.
that are spending hundreds of millions of dollars or tens of millions per minute of ad time. You can't just put whoever you want, like even if they're from the city. You can't, especially you're not putting like Birdman and Juvenile front and center right now. Like
Right, but
when
that also wouldn't be. That
no,
wouldn't be
but
it,
I'm just
right?
saying, like as in
It'd be Wayne. Like
Yeah.
those guys would be there, but it would be Wayne, Drake, and Nicki, and that's.
But I don't think you can, and I don't think you can do that right now. Like I don't think.
That's not.
Yeah. You can't. Drake is as hot as Kendrick is right now. Drake has put out 15 songs since that beef, and not one has charted.
I
He's
don't
about
know
as cold as they get right now.
I think that wouldn't play a factor in the
You don't think so?
No, I think I think the number one thing is Drake can't be a feature.
Yeah.
And truth be told, Nicki can't be a feature. I thought Nicki's response was outrageous.
Nicki is always outrageous.
Nicki's response. Yeah, but Nicki's response is bordering on stupid, and like that's
I was
not.
like,
Like,
what
she's
is
not.
she
Say
doing?
a lot of right things.
Well,
I honestly reread it and I'm like, am I
I
am
wasn't
I
gonna say
dumb?
it. So no,
Am I like not processing what's going on here? It was like flat earther conspiracy. I could not, and I love
Now,
Nicki.
Wayne's her guy though, so like she's
Yes.
going to bat for her guy, but it's like don't go to bat and look dumb.
Never.
Go to bat for your guy and rep your guy well. You just went to bat for your guy and you're like, what? But like Trysta said, are there aliens landing around?
But that's and that's why.
By the way, Gag City Reloaded coming
back to the Chase Center.
Yeah, get your ticket. Well, get your tickets on 106.5 The End. That's a shoot.
Oh man,
that's a shoot. Heard it this
man.
morning. That's a shoot.
Come on.
They was doing a bit. They were like, "Yeah, you just won tickets to Nicki Minaj." I'm like, "Excuse me." Wait, I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, shout out to
We're giving away a River Cat suite, and you got tickets to Nicki Minaj. Sorry, that's in-house business. I
let
apologize.
us take over the whole thing. We can distribute this perfectly, but so that's like that's where I don't know. Sometimes with me with certain stuff, whether it's Twitter or group chats or whatever, I just walk away. It is like it's not. Kendrick Lamar is perfectly fine.
Mind.
Yeah, and Kendrick is perfectly fine. He's gonna put on a great show. It's fun. It's okay. Like I have a thought, I have an opinion about it, but I'm not that passionate about it. Where a week later, I'm gonna still be talking about this.
Yeah, I think in general, like it's just it boils down to it's just not that serious. You know, we don't need it. There's other things that we could be upset about, like the knee to the back of Tyreek Hill. Like I'm kind of focused on things that like actually have real physical impact. And like it's a great debate topic, and I certainly think Wayne deserved it. I'm just not going to spend too much time weeping for a guy with probably over $100 million.
Look, Trysta, I ain't even got to go there. I'm more concerned about Christian McCaffrey's calf. Okay, it's fine. Wayne, it's good. Christian, are you okay?
How concerned are you about Jamal Murray's contract extension in the Denver Nuggets?
I'm so out on the Nuggets. It's so disappointing. Have you ever seen a business that was run so well, and then all of a sudden you turn around and they've got new leadership and they just crumble right before your very eyes? That is what I think we're seeing for the Nuggets. And there's just and I know the Nuggets have been historically weird with how they distribute their money in the past. And they spent a lot of money on Michael Porter Jr. for his like rookie fun max when he was still dealing with those back issues. Dumb. Like they've paid players too early, they've paid players too much. And then they haven't paid the important players enough to keep them around. And so I think the roster building is a massive issue. And I know that you have to pay Jamal money. Like you have to, because him and Jokic are like peas and carrots. They're a perfect partnership. And I love Jamal Murray. You guys know how much I probably am like one of the top people in his fan club. When he's fully healthy and on a heater, there's almost no guard I'd rather have with the ball in his hands.
Feels like a lot of qualifiers though.
I feel the same.
In the
Not just
playoffs,
when he's healthy,
healthy,
but on a heater.
in
the playoffs too.
In the playoffs. Well, like there's like so many Jamal Murray moments where he has taken a stake to the heart of his opponent at a time where like the clutch scenario and the tension is at an all-time high. I love watching him play. But the truth of the matter, what we know in our hearts is he looked really, really bad in the playoffs. Really bad. He had a couple of really big shots that kept them in that series against the Lakers, which does not wipe anything away, but shows us what his ceiling is. He was even worse in the Olympics. He was a man off the bench and I think averaged like 4 points per game. And we don't know if he's 100%. He should have been suspended when he threw that ice pack at the referee. He's kind of has an attitude and has health issues. So the amount of money is like
Forgot about that.
yeah, like there's a lot
That
around
was
Jamal.
crazy.
There's a lot around him. But I don't think there was any other moves. I'm more concerned about
He
the
said he didn't want to talk about it. I'm sorry. I completely forgot he threw the heating pad at the official.
yeah.
That is crazy. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. That's old news. Yeah, bro, you stormed out of the locker room and we didn't get to talk to you. Oh, that's a good one, TK. I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like Jamal's had a lot of stuff surrounding him over the last 12 months. And I was so high on the Nuggets after they won their championship because they ripped through everybody. It was like a hot knife through butter. And I thought maybe they would win, 2 or 3 championships in the prime of Jamal and Jokic's reign. And now we don't have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope anymore. He's super, super important. Obviously was a key piece to the Lakers championship. He's now in Orlando. Bruce Brown was a key piece off the bench and gave you some meaningful minutes at guard and at the 4 spot. He's gone. And I get that because they paid him like $20 million a year in Indiana as a trade piece. But okay. And then you've got Jeff Green, who is another staple vet. So those guys are now gone. And really, you should trade Michael Porter Jr. He's got to go. Like, you got to clear up money. And he's like mediocre Porter Jr. It was not impactful or important in that finals run, in the playoff run. Couple of good shots, but really, like, you can pay a lot of guys way less money to just hit shots off catch and shoot that are, 6'5" or taller. And now you got Peyton Watson, who's like not really getting any minutes, and Michael Malone doesn't really want to develop these young kids. He feels, I think, probably like the cupboards are getting ripped, and he nothing to really work with. You've got Christian Brown taking Bruce Brown's spot, and then you've got a GM who, let's just call it what it is. He effing stinks. He's just always popping off about the players that he does and does not need. They leave, and the team gets worse. So yeah, it's so much bigger than Jamal's contract for me.
You were a little bit more passionate about the Denver Nuggets than I realized.
She said a lot there, and a lot of it was right. I agree, Michael Porter. That's the contract you move, if you can, because that's kind of holding everything up. Jamal Murray, the questions are legitimate. It's not what do they say, apples to apples comparison, but I think the situation, the player and the situation mirror the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. There's a lot of flaws. There's a lot of red flags where in an ideal situation, I probably wouldn't give him this money.
Yep.
But what is Dallas going to do?
Yep.
And in this case, what is Denver going to do?
That's right.
What's the other option you have? You have no other option.
100%.
But let's not take that decision and put that in like a vacuum. It's why don't you have any other moves? You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. That's like it's the other stuff that makes you boxed into Dak's contract. Why didn't you find somebody behind him that you can at least apply some leverage? That's Trey Lance. We know that's not Trey Lance, baby. There's other people that you could have gone after that were available at different points in time in the 6 years, 7 years, or whatever it's been since Dak Prescott has gotten there, 8 years. So same thing with Jamal Murray. Like, you have to know that contract's coming and figure out a way to move the chess pieces around to make that roster still sustainable to be a contender. If you have Jokic on the team, you have to do everything that you can to create as sustainable as a contender as you can. I know I would be effing hot if I was Jokic and I lost 3 of my dudes. And now you got to pay Aaron Gordon. What you about to do there?
Well, Jokic ain't going to play much longer anyway. He don't care.
He's going to go home and be with his horses. Yeah, he's going to go be with his horses and be as happy as can be.
He's on his way.
That man is happiest when he is away from the basketball floor.
That's a 6 seed. That's a 6 seed. Denver.
Ooh, wow.
That's 3 spots behind where Sacramento will be. Great stuff, TK. Feel better.
Thank you, guys. I love you. Have a great day. Chatty House. I rock with y'all. I don't know what was said in the comments, but I hope it was good.
It's always
Oh, it's
good.
always
They love them some
always
TK.
love.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always good. We're following the home improvement project. We can't wait to see what's next.
That's right.
Hashtag construction thirst traps coming
Let's go,
behind a
baby.
paywall near
Let's
you.
go, baby. Let's get you a Home Depot endorsement. Lowe's, where y'all at? Where
I
y'all
don't
at?
care. Anybody. What's the other one? Harbor Freight. I don't care.
Fine.
Harbor Freight, $2.99 drill bits. I don't care. I'll do
Well,
any of
that
that.
sounded weird. I'm just not comfortable
Pause.
with that
Gotta
phrasing.
go.
Thank you. Bye, TK.
All right.